This video is about why I wear head coverings and where I get them. That was another question. And let's just address this. This wasn't a video I was ever gonna make. I feel like I say that in a lot of my videos, but this wasn't. I was like, no, this is personal and I am not consistent enough on it to really make a video for it. So why bother? But I've had a few questions pertaining to this as to why I'm inconsistent with it, and do I or don't I? Why am I doing this? It's a part of my church. So I'm going to address that in this video. I actually began wearing head coverings when I was doing a study on it 3 or 4 years ago. It was really bad for my husband who has clinical depression. I can't emphasize that enough. It was really bad. It was a time when I had to kind of step up and wear the pants for the family. And actually that is a natural role for me to do. It's easy for me to kind of just step up, take charge. This is what needs to be done. Let's do it. This is how I'm going to do things, my way, highway. I'm that kind of personality. And when I had to kind of step into that role, and I was really leaning on the Lord on an hour by hour basis, I needed that reminder of I am still under my husband's headship. It may be like one of those, he is out on the couch because he's it may be that he can't step up fully into his role right now as headship of this family, as a leader of this family. But that is still the God-given role he has been given. But I was making a lot of decisions that it would have been easy for me just to kind of keep going with it. And about that time, I decided to start wearing a head covering. It was a reminder to me that I am under my husband's headship. It was a visible thing that I had to put on to remember. And it reminded me a lot of scripture where it says we put on Christ. And there's another scripture like daily take up your cross and follow me. Like it's not a once and for all. It's a visible, constant reminder. And I started wearing head coverings because of that. I wanted this visible reminder to me that I am still under my husband's headship. 1 Corinthians is constantly referenced into it when we talk about whether or not a woman should cover. There is a couple of things to address with that. One, many people will brush it off as cultural. That was just the culture of the day. That's not an error. But if you're just brushing something off as that's the culture of the day, this is where we are now, where women can preach in the church. And I don't believe that is accurate. I firmly believe that women are not to have any authority over man. That was established in the Garden of Eden by God. And that continues throughout all of Scripture. Deborah was an exception to the rule. And if you notice with Deborah, she's the only one that doesn't say God raised up. People went to her. So I'm just leery anytime somebody says, well, it's just a cultural thing. Anytime I'm going to be talking about God and authority and anything related to my faith, I tend to try to remember to put a covering on. And that is my visible reminder that I am under God and his authority. I am under my husband and his authority. And those is just because I tend to be a kind of my way or the highway personality. I have that kind of personality. And it is, again, just this visible reminder that's on me. Anytime I see it, anytime I'm editing videos, and I'm like, yeah, your husband would not be happy if he's saying that. I'll edit it out. I have not done extensive research on should women wear head coverings. I think it really goes along with should women wear dresses. I think it goes to a conviction of the heart. I do not think head coverings is something that is required by the Bible for women today. I do believe firmly that it is a conviction that God puts on you. Whether or not it's something that He is working in your heart over, or this needs to be in your life for this reason. So this is typically why I wear head coverings. It is just that visible symbol reminder on my head that I am under God's authority. The reason it's not consistently, because I'm always needing this reminder, is I actually don't have a shelf on the back of my head. So everything just goes up and it doesn't stay. And it is very easy for me to be constantly fixing this covering every 15 minutes to get it to stay neat and tidy. I don't have anything to hold it. I have a very flat head. I don't have a round. I don't have a point. I have nothing back here to hold it on my head. It's probably why I can wear child-size hats. So that's one reason why it's not consistent. It's unfortunate, and again, I think it's one way that I don't become legalistic about it. So there's kind of, okay, it's also a deliberate thing that I need to make sure that I'm doing. And that is a plus for me in this. Deliberately putting this on my head, deliberately putting on the authority of Christ and my husband ahead of me. Especially when you have a public platform. And sometimes I do start talking of my faith and things like that. And it's like, I don't want to, honestly, talking my faith is so scary for me. It genuinely is one of those things that I'm terrified about. Not because of what somebody will think of me, but because of that verse that we are held doubly accountable for what we say. And so I'm like, I better be 100% accurate in what I tell others with any relation to what Scripture says. I better be accurate because I'm going to be held doubly accountable for. If we're held accountable for every word uttered, and those within the ministry of faith are held doubly accountable for what they teach and what they say, guys, that's scary. Ugh. So, visible reminder. Just watch what you say, Shalise. Especially because a video that I had put out last year, I had meant to take it out. I had clipped it to be edited, but I hadn't removed it apparently because I had somebody message me and say, so you're in error with the Old Testament teaching on something. And I was like, I know, I thought I removed that because I wanted to make sure. I didn't, so that went up and that was an error of what Scripture or tradition had taught. So again, visible reminder, why it's not consistent. I don't have the head that holds it very well. And again, deliberation into doing it. And sometimes you're like, I have 5 minutes. Let me sit down and film while this is on my head, while I have all the words. I need to do it now. And then the third thing that I wanted to talk about this is where I get them. I've used Walmart. I've used, I don't think it's Garlands of Grace. I believe that's what it's called. I'll leave it down below. I've used them. This is actually the first one I got from them. It is completely cotton and it's a tie. So it ties here in the back. And I actually don't like this one. I do like that I can go like this. So I can pull it or I can leave it bunched up. I do like that. But anything that I tie, actually I tend to get a lot of my hair in it. So, and that, again, just kind of pulls throughout the day and really hurts. So that's one. Bobby pins. It's always hard to make sure that I have bobby pins in the drawer. They disappear. My boys like to try to see if they can pick locks with them. And all kinds of stuff. And I have never learned how to put a bobby pin in. I've seen people like they just take the strand of hair, put 2 bobby pins in, and it stays nice the whole time. And I try, and it's half down here in 5 minutes into the day. So I've never figured out how to do the whole bobby pin thing. So I have this one, and then I have 2 others by them. They both have these hook clasps, and they're made from knit. Again, the problem that I have with them is the one that I wrap, that is made as a wrap, you can pretty much only use it that way. And I don't know, the head coverings to find in, like, I liked the neutral is difficult, and the ones that I find, they're just harder to work with this head of mine. I guess that's my review on Tapestry of Grace. I really like what they look like on the website, but I would say that it's also better for women with long hair, long thick hair. The things that I've seen people do, these tend to work really well with those people that have those long thick hair that they can move up and then use the covering to kind of manipulate. I have more thin, flat hair, so it doesn't quite work like the way I would like it to be. I also have very oily hair. I know that's a relation to my diet, because I can have really good seasons and really bad seasons, and it tends to work with my diet. So I know that's a part of it, but so that's the review on that. Especially for the cost that they're good quality for their cost, but not helpful enough that I would continuously use them. I do, in the sense that I like what people do with them, but I don't have that hair. So Walmart's $2.88 special, I think is what it is typically what I end up doing. So we'll just leave it at that, and I will leave this here, and I hope that addresses some of the questions that you've had about head coverings. If there's any other ones, go ahead and go down in the comments below and leave them for me there. Basically, it's not related to my church. It's more personal, and honestly, the more that I study head coverings and like a lot of it, the more I'm like, I really would like to keep this consistent. My husband's doing a lot better now. Anytime I go to church, I try to make sure that I wear one. It could easily become one of those legalistic things, or salvation by works. It could easily become that. And so sometimes there's a deliberate, no, don't wear that today. And again, it's that fine line between conviction and legalism, and that you got to work with and wiggle room. So there's not really a set thing I can go here and tell you. It really was a personal decision based on my circumstances and based on more and more reading of scripture. I don't see it as a works of salvation. If I decided to put all of my head coverings away and not wear one again, I don't think that's going to affect my relationship with God and Jesus. I'm saved by his blood and grace alone. But here's where it is. Here's where we sit. So hope that was enlightening. I will see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.